everybody to the Indie Podcast. I'm your host, Super Joe Pardo, and today I have a special guest. We were supposed to meet on Wednesday. I fell asleep. Honestly, that's what happened. It was not one of my finer moments. I kept saying, "Joe, get up! Joe, get up! Joe, get up!" But I was just a little too tired at that point and ready to just be done with the day because I'd woke up at 3:30 in the morning and was like, I can't deal with this anyway. This week, my guest is one of the co-founders of Poddit, and I am super happy to have him on and super excited to talk about podcasters getting guests on their show using their service and just the podcast guest relationship in general. So if you have any questions about that type of how to get your ideal podcast guests on your show, this is probably one of those episodes you're going to want to tune in on. But first, I need to give a huge shout out to our sponsor for this episode. It is Podbean, and they are the ones bringing this episode to you. Podbean is an easy and powerful way to start podcasting. They give you all the tools you need for a successful podcast, such as unlimited podcast hosting, podcast distribution, monetization options for podcasts of any size, and live stream podcasting capabilities. Sign up today at www.podbean.com. That's PODBEAN.com. Anyway, let's get on with some of the other announcements that we have. If you haven't heard, Indie PodCon is happening September 24th to the 26th, just outside of Philadelphia. You should totally go register right now and save 10% before the prices start going up. In the next couple of weeks, we will be looking at some price increases. And I have some announcements for later on in the show now that we have some dates set up. But if you use offer code IPP at indiepodcon.com/register, you can get yourself 10% off. You can also use IPP at indiepodcon.com/shop to shop podcasting swag, like a shirt like I'm wearing right now. Actually, I don't know if it's available in green, but it is the same design, I believe, available. I think I might be a liar. Anyway, let's get on with our guest. I'm going to bring him in here. So I need you to all give a huge, warm welcome for wherever you are right now to Brent Basham. Woo!
Hey, Joe, Super Joe Pardo. What's happening?
Oh, just running late, like normal.
Kids, right?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, I know why.
Mostly this kid right here.
Yeah, taking it from an old pro. I have 3 kids. Perfect excuse.
So, Brent, why don't you tell everyone about Poddit and what it can do for podcasters?
Yeah, I mean, Poddit is really created to solve a pain point for podcasters. As you know, Joe, this kind of originated back with Digital Dads. I was a podcaster for a couple of years with Andrew Curry, and I wanted to give these guys a shout out real quick because they are amazing, and I'm the mouthpiece of this whole thing. But it's really designed for a single purpose, which is solving the big giant pain in the rear of connecting and coordinating for interviews. It's terrible. The process is terrible. It's broken. We experienced it for a long time, and so now we're trying to solve that pain point. But real quick, let me just say, introduce you guys real quick to the team here while I'm over here, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I always get to talk, and these guys are actually, as you can see, while I'm talking, they're working. So I just get on my mouth. And Eduardo Castillo Fernandez, this is Mr. Aaron Danley. These guys are the magic behind what you see happening. And then, of course, the awesome Andrew Curry looking at my whiteboarding, my amazing white. No, don't show it. Trade secrets. So Andrew Curry. And then we've got Anthony Waters, who's going to be joining here in a little bit too. So it's more than just me. I get to, like I said, run my mouth a lot, but we're out here day in, day out, weekend, all the time, away from kids, away from family, trying to make something amazing. And so it's a effort and love right now, but we're really had some revelations here lately that we think are going to be really amazing for you guys. So we're excited about it. We're excited to solve this problem. It took time away. You
Yeah.
know, Joe, I mean, it took time away from my family, and we honestly pod faded largely as a result, or at least partially as a result of this whole guest coordination bit, you know, finding them, coordinating with them, obviously editing, all that stuff. But I love that show, and that show is no more, you know? So maybe we can solve part of that puzzle for people.
So wait, so first of all, I gotta ask, like, where are you right now? Because that's a fancy wall behind you.
So I'm in Aaron's living room, actually.
Wow.
Well, he's designer, and you know, no kids. So
Yep,
that's what you
that
get.
makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, up in Atlanta, Marietta area.
I love it. That's awesome. It looks like a cigar and brandy room or something.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. It's and matter of fact, check this out. Where I love it because this is where we actually get to do our whiteboarding stuff too. So it's fun.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it's great that they have you to be that mouthpiece because it's so important to get the word out and have that community be built with a figurehead so that people will identify, like, I see that guy, I know that guy, I like that guy, I want more of what that guy has to offer. And if you don't have that, then you're just like another web page out there in the space of billions of web pages.
Yeah, I think it's true. My default, and I've put this in the group a bit, is to anybody that knows me knows I really like to cut up and joke around and have fun. And that's a big part of what we're trying to build into Poddit and into the whole community aspect of it. But at the same time, you know, we really understand that everybody has their role. So it's also, you know, I try to make very, I'm real careful about posting or being respectful of people in the group's time and that sort of thing. What you don't maybe realize is the degree of strategy. What you do, probably a lot of the people maybe listening do, but there's a lot of strategy, but it's still authentic strategy. So it's sort of a weird place to be. But I think the trick is when you go to post something, think, and then, you know, but then sometimes, you know, I post off the cuff because that's also part of the fun. So, you know, just bringing that mix. We don't want to overkill. We don't want to overkill. We want to make sure what we're bringing is interesting to people so they don't just tune us out like every other note there.
Well, yeah, and it adds the authenticity. Again, it adds to the ability for somebody to just point and be like, that guy right there, that's the person that I identify with, and that gets me, and that's where I want to spend my money. That's where I want to spend my time. That's where I want to, you know, I want more people. I want more connections to come from people that are like that person, you know.
Right.
So, and shout out to Larry Roberts.
Anchorman reference.
By the way,
Anchorman reference.
Yeah. So shout out to Larry Roberts, by the way, who is going to be on the show in the future, I believe, if I ever checked my calendar. Speaking of future, so if you haven't put yourself out there yet and set yourself up to be a speaker at the at Indie PodCon 2020, you have time to do that. We've actually extended the speaking submissions to March 31st, so you can get yourself. And I'm pulling up the website right now so I can share it. Apply. That's the word. I always forget my pretty links. I have so many, like, apply, submit, guest, you know, social and things like that. Like, which ones are the ones that are going to work? And yeah, so let's see. So I'm going to pull up the shade. So yeah, calling all speaker submissions and March 31st. Now, not only did we extended it, but we, and I haven't put it on the website yet, but we actually decided the date in which we will be announcing the speaker list will be April 15th. So that April 15th is when me and the team, and I don't know how many of the team will be on the call, hopefully quite a few since we have time to make it happen. They'll be on the call and they'll be able to, Wednesday night. So coming up, I guess he's next. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Hopefully I won't fall. So hopefully I won't wake up at 3:30 in the morning and be dead tired by 8 o'clock again. so yeah, so you have until March 31st to get your submission, and you just scroll down here, read all the stuff, read all about it, pop your stuff, and we've gotten a number of submissions already, but there are so many submissions that I'm like, they haven't submitted yet. I'm actually a little disappointed. And one other announcement that I want to make before we start talking more about Poddit and the guest interaction and all that is we decided that we're figuring out the numbers of how many speakers, how many featured speakers, and how many spotlight speakers we're going to have this year. And while it's not official, and I'm sure Sam, if she's watching this, so she probably is sleeping right now down in Australia, it would say no, that was just, it's a preliminary, but just our preliminary amount numbers are somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 or 7 of each. So 6 or 7 featured speakers, 6 or 7 spotlight speakers. So it is a limited number of spots available this year. And part of that is so that more people, and this is going to tie right in here, have time to network with each other and get to be on each other's podcasts and enjoy, a more less rushed pace of a conference than we have, or I should say I have put together in the past. So shout out to all of the whole team that's really put the pressure on me to make sure that I'm just not like, yeah, everybody's speaking, and like literally there's like no minutes in between. I mean, Brent, you've been a part of 2 of the 6 conferences so far.
Yep.
And hopefully 3 of the 6 soon. But we'll I every second counts.
Yeah, I love that. I think you're gonna have obviously some folks that maybe don't get to speak, but it's gonna make sure, because you're for all the attendees, because you're gonna be limited a little bit. And also what's great, the network Podfest exclusively just for the networking, the face-to-face that you don't get, because face-to-face is a big part of it. So having a venue and maybe focusing on that, I bet there's some really interesting things you can do to make that even better. I'm excited about it.
Well, thank you, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about, now that you mentioned Podfest. Yeah, I'm excited. I will be at Podfest, and some of our team will be at Podfest as well. So I'm looking forward to networking. I think, and I just was deciding this morning as I was laying in bed about 4:00 in the morning, that I think we should try to put some kind of dinner together, some kind of indie pod dinner thing together. So I don't know if anybody wants to help and reach out and help plan said thing. I would be more than open to accepting said help to make that happen. And we also will be having a call for volunteers in the not too distant future. So I'm looking forward to that as well. We have Leon, or Babe, as he's affectionately known, down in Australia, who is heading up the volunteer recruitment for all of our different coordinators that we have for this year going forward. So I am I'm excited to be able to get some signed on help and signed on help to help with managing the help. That's
yeah, Sam and Leon were fantastic.
Yeah, they were. Well, I mean, all the people that helped. I don't want to take it away from anyone, but like,
but I mean,
they literally flew around the world and then dumped, like, of their 7 days here, 8 days here, they dumped like 3.5, 4 days into helping make that all happen. So
when you had David and Amy and just literally an army of people
Tim
behind you to help, which is a testament to you, Joe. I mean, people willing to come in and help make that thing amazing. I think they really get behind it because they really believe in what you're trying to do. So kudos on that, man.
I thank you. I appreciate it. It's an honor to be able to help and bring people together. It's what I love absolutely above anything else, is to bring awesome people together and have a great time. And that's really, to me, what it's all about. And I, but at the same time, I still have my button over that finger, like, let everybody speak. I want everybody to speak, but like it just becomes a marathon. So I gotta have some restraint, and some growing and learning to do. They're like, hey, what if we do this and it works, right? Like, every other year we've let pretty much everybody speak that wanted the opportunity to speak. And it's worked, but it doesn't work for everybody as a whole over the course of like 2 days of nonstop.
Well, and how
talks.
scalable is that too? If it's going to continue to grow and serve more people, how scalable is it to continue to have everybody that keeps coming on speak? I don't know. That might get to be tough.
It is, because of the way that we try to keep the one room mentality and structure. So we'll see. I'm open to it. There was one other thing. I know. I think the one thing was that we're looking at like 6 to 7 featured speakers and 6 to 7 spotlight speakers. But we're also looking at bringing on some other workshops and things of that nature. A lunch on both Friday and Saturday, though it's not official yet. I'm waiting for. So, hey, if you'd like to sponsor Indie PodCon, not you, but not
me,
you, but,
personally, you put me on the spot on a live stream.
No. Hold on a second. No. That's not what I was saying. If you're looking to help sponsor an event that can help get your message out there, you can go to indiepodcon.com/partners and learn all about what you can do to get involved and help sponsor it. So because we're trying to like raise the money to give lunch for 2 days, which is it's a lot, because we're looking between like 200 to 400 attendees, and that is a lot of money even at Holiday Inn rates. Now, Brent, speaking of the Holiday Inn, did you get to see the pictures from the renovation? Now, you had never been in there because you went the first year when we were in the school gymnasium. But
I got the gymnasium.
Yes.
Right. And then I got
the classic.
One end of the spectrum to the other, and got the Ocean Resort. So yeah. Middle school gym to casino on the water. So yeah, I missed the middle.
Yes, but we are going back to the middle because it's way more affordable and allows everyone a lot more people to be able to get there a lot easier. Yeah, I mean, it's 20 minutes from the airport. It's in the line of fire, no matter which direction you're coming from, whether it's from DC, Baltimore, or New York, Philadelphia. It's a lot easier to get to than adding an extra hour.
Atlanta, Australia.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about podcast connecting and getting connected with your guests. Now, you talked about the fact that like you guys had difficulty with that, and it's a frustrating thing. Like, I know for me, when I was getting started, I was doing everything by hand. It was lots of emails back and forth and like trying to coordinate dates. And I remember that in the beginning, like, wasn't that long ago in the beginning, I was like I was like, okay, I'm going to automate some of this. And like, I'm going to get the Calendly link and hey, schedule your, schedule this with me. And I remember, I guess I didn't hang in there long enough for it, because like I had a few people that were like, yeah, I'm interested, but then I'd send the link and like to schedule it, and then that would be the end of it. Like, it would just die. And they wouldn't respond to my emails. It was almost like offensive that I sent them a link to like pick a time in which they can schedule. And I just like, yeah, I guess this isn't going to work for me. So I ditched it for a while, but then I remember Mark Asquith was like, I have this form, and like I just tell people they have to fill out the form, and they have to that you have to do it. Like it just is what it is. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I gotta wait till I'm like so big to like people are just clamoring to be on the show to be able to have permission, to give myself permission to automate any of the process. And the fact of the matter is like Mark's like, nah, I did it since the beginning. Like, if you don't want to be on the show, that's fine. Don't fill out the form. It's not the end of the world. Of course, I don't think he was doing 5 days a week like I was when I was trying to automate that process.
A lot of slots,
it was a lot harder in that sense. But and nobody, was relatively unknown. So
once a week, but it is your platform, and I think that as you kind of, the problem shifts a little bit at the beginning when you're brand new, you're sort of to even reach out, where you come across with lack of confidence, and there's all these sales things cause you to kind of fail with guests you're pitching to. But by and large, most of the guests you're reaching out to aren't so big that they can't come on your show. Even big ones will come on your show. Look, on Digital Dads, we Ellen getting things done. Million Twitter followers. We had Greg McEwen of Essentialism. We had big names. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to say I reached out to them and thought about when you're reaching out to a guest, think about what would be the benefit to them, any kind of sales. And largely you're telling them, here's my show, here's me, here's me.
Oh, did we lose you? Oh no. I know he was breaking in and out a little bit there. In the meantime, what's up, Lou? How are you doing? Thanks for joining us on a Saturday edition of the Indie Pod podcast. Once he gets back in here, he's moving around frame by frame. They'll put him back together. Are you back with us, Brent? Hello. Oh. Okay, so I'll give him a chance to get it back. Oh, here he comes. All right, there we go. Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit there. That all of a sudden,
it went blank for me. Yeah, it went blank for me. To pick up on what I was saying. So basically, I think the key thing when you're reaching out to guests, especially early on, but all the time, and any kind of interaction you have where it's like a sales kind of a thing, you have to think about what's the benefit to the other person. Why would they want to do that? And honestly, there was plenty of guests that I was going to reach out to back in those Digital Dad days where I couldn't come up with a reason why they would want to come on my show. And so I reach out to them because I wasn't going to waste their time or my time. Now, the nice thing about Poddit, what we're trying to create, one of the benefits is that we know people that are in Poddit largely are there because they want to be on shows or they want to have people on their show. So right there, and we're going to do some things with algorithms and activity and stuff like that to keep that fresh, that if you're in the network as it continues to grow, those people want to be interviewed. And so we're getting rid of a bunch of the ones that don't, or the cold calling. So right there out of the gate, we're going to help you with your percentage increase, right? And then there's the question of managing as you get a little bit bigger, and you probably experienced this a lot, Joe. You start to get inundated with requests.
Yes,
right.
So it goes from more inundated with requests for Dreamers,
right? And the more you put yourself out there with no like and trust, and you're doing the business geeks, and you're doing the network, the event, you're doing all these things. You're starting to be out in the world. More people start wanting to take advantage of your platform effectively, right? Or add value to your show, which hopefully that's what they authentically are going to do. But they're motivated by their own personal interests, right? And so then there comes the question of, well, how do I manage that? And to your point, Askwith is out there using like a Google form or some kind of email. And what happens is all of these pieces are very disjointed and none of it is very manageable for you as a podcaster. It's kind of an absolute lived it. And like I said, it was a big part of the reason. And that's before you even get to coordinating the interview or scheduling. And you got to go in. Yeah, you might know the link, but it's not automatically there for them, right? It's not part of a process of a CRM that goes all the way from they apply to you selected them and moves through a process. So what we've whiteboarded out and what we're working on is really building this out in a way that helps you discover, connect, and coordinate the whole thing end to end. And there's some really cool stuff that I wish I had when I was doing Digital Dads, but it'll serve me on those and hopefully serve a lot of other people as well. The nice thing is we don't have to charge podcasters because it's their platform. And you actually did that talk and you had that whole thing about, charging for your thing. Well, this in a way, because we're going to have an affiliate piece built into this. So think of this in the high level. Think of this. You go on to Poddit. You have your own custom form on your website that sends them to Poddit. They become part of Poddit. Now you automatically have them applied to your show. You can coordinate the interview. If they decide they want to be on more shows and ever upgrade, you're going to get residual income on that forever. Why in the world would you ever use anything else? I wouldn't have.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I mean, look, you were talking to me about this like 2 years ago.
Yep.
3 years, maybe. Well, I guess it was
maybe 3.
No, it was probably like 2.5 years ago because it was
Mm-hmm.
before Podcast Movement 2018 when it was here in Philly. So yeah, it was probably warm. I think might have been warm out then. So yeah, or not even warm. No, it was cold because Podcast Movement was in August. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
cold, and then it was months later that we hung out at Podcast Movement, and well, let me just say, like, I mean, no, you guys obviously aren't sponsoring this necessarily this year, and either way, it
We
doesn't
want to.
matter.
Okay, we want
We
to.
are we are absolutely, or I am, I should say, I am absolutely so proud of you guys for not only just uh doing it right and having this platform and building it up, but like putting in the dedication of the years. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
years going by now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was years going by, I think even before you talked to me about it,
Yeah.
in this idea. So it's not like a fly by night, like, oh, we put together this like quick WordPress website and like used a couple of plugins and bundled it, and then
Right.
there you go. Like you guys are actually writing the code for it and really making it into something that has a whole lot of value, not just a bunch of like I said, plugins or something just strung along. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I mean, I've built plenty of sites that are like that, but you guys are making proprietary moves here.
Yeah, and there's also competition entering the space, and I think that what we're really crystal clear on is this problem, because it was my problem as a dad, as a podcaster. It was my problem, and it got in the way of me doing my show. And I know it gets in the way of other people doing their show, and communication that could happen that doesn't happen. So it's bigger than just this sort of agnostic sort of technical problem. It is a technical problem, but it can literally have an effect on so many people's interactions. And who knows, conversations on podcasts can affect people's lives. And so it's a big deal.
Absolutely.
It's a meaningful big deal for us. And so we've put in the years because we know that we've learned that making something simple and great is not easy. It's really freaking hard. But one of the things we're trying to do is pull back the curtain on that here, and increasingly so that we let you all in, because it occurred to me, we're doing this around our lives, our families, our jobs, everything else. And it occurred to me that not everybody gets to be a fly on the wall for some of these things. Who knows what it'll be? But it's really interesting to me. And I'm like, let's just let them see some of the stuff that goes on, because they may not have the bandwidth to do this in their own life, or the wherewithal, or the motivation, or whatever it is. And if they don't want to see it, they don't have to, but they can certainly take a peek at what is it like to do this, like for real, not packaged, not, what was it, Alex Bloomberg show startup that's all heavy edited, just some snippets, just some real life to these guys are really trying to do a thing. And we really trying to do it for all of you. And so I think that we're on the right track. I think we're about within the next few months. I think you guys are going to see a massive change, and I think it's going to solve the problem in ways you can't expect. But it's because of those years, right? And that's why I'm not really that worried about the funding or the competition, the things that are out there, because they can't go back and replace all that thought and all that effort into figuring out how to solve this problem, which is what we've done.
Now, do you feel like the guest booking agents are competition, and or what are you doing about that if you do?
So I would say largely no. And the reason I say that is ours, at least at present, is really for the long tail part of the long tail, right? It's for those DIY people who really want to hustle and they want to kind of find some connections. And some people really like doing that. I liked doing that. I like doing it myself and finding those connections myself. Some people have a different business model and they're going to pay for that. If they're going to pay for that, they're not going to come do it in our platform. Now, what I think we'll see is as we continue to grow, as more and more of both sides of the fence come into the platform, there may be a service that helps facilitate or companies so that they can, because we have a lot of podcasters that are looking for guests. And so then maybe they can bring their guests into that platform and still is on piece, but have a much better experience of doing that. But we're not really sort of making the site agnostic in a way to allow that. We're building we're solving the problem at hand, and then if that becomes a need, we'll sort of figure out where that goes. But right now, it's more for, like you, it's for the indie pod people and the indie book people and the indie coaches and all these people who looking for something that's affordable that they can get out there and help, get people to know, like, and trust them.
Yeah, so they're not dropping $100, $200, $500 an episode, like,
right.
Which, hey, if you find the value in that, that, I mean, from a business standpoint, I'm all for that. But as long as you're finding the value in it, that's the important part, and you're getting taken care of. That's the other thing, is that hands-on approach versus being able to be like, I'm going to do this myself. Like that's how I am. Like it's, I wouldn't. I would only probably pay somebody if I super like them, or if I ever found myself in a position where, like, I have such a lack of time to make that commitment but if I have such a lack of time to make that commitment, like I find myself even in this today, I find it hard to book podcasts in general, like guests being on my personal show, Dreamers Podcast. And I mean, doing like the Business Geeks podcast, shout out to Business Geeks podcast. It's effectively 1 hour, because now we have Leon is doing all of our posting and everything. So like literally we're jumping in StreamYard. Right. We already have like a spreadsheet where we're popping in topics and things along the way across the week. So it's like I'm spending a little bit of time here and there, and then an hour, and then upload the file and set it, and forget it.
Yeah, there's enormous value in outsourcing different parts of what you're doing, particularly as you grow. But I think by and large, the vast majority of people in the podcast aren't making a lot of money on their show. And if we can build a tool that helps them do what they're doing, they're going to want to take advantage of that. And it might not be a mutually exclusive thing. They might do both. So I think there's space in the realm for, there's so many people out there with a message, whether it be university professors, my gosh, it's so broad. And then some of them, a very smaller subset of them, are willing to pay, and it's worth it to them. And that's probably where they'd kick in. And we may have partnerships with those folks later. I don't know how it'll manifest, but right now I don't see them as direct competition at all. I think it's different folks, same space, but different motivations.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how's all of your significant others taking all of the amount of time that you're pouring into this? Take an average temperature of the
my wife believes in 100%. They know that, frankly, it can change the lives of a lot of people, and it can change our lives. Like my wife, more than anybody, sees that. Like, she sees that, and we've already started to see that, and it's exciting. But it takes I want to say a toll, but it does take an effort, and it takes a understanding from the whole family. They had a little bit of taste of it when we did Digital Dads, although my kids participated in that. But so they got to kind of touch on it. But they've got the stickers. My daughter wants like a Poddit hoodie, stuff like that. So they're really proud of me, and I'm pretty keen on, from the podcast we did, I'm pretty keen on paying attention to that sort of ebb and flow. And so sometimes when I feel like it's shifted a little too far, I'll make sure that, like, okay, tonight's the phone's put away, I'm not touching anything, and I'm just hanging out with the kids one-on-one or multiple, or me and my wife will watch the show, something. But it's definitely does take an effort, as any of these endeavors take an effort. So hopefully we'll get to the point where we can do this full time, and that way I can have a little bit more of a balance there at some point, But for right now, it's up and down, man.
Yeah, I know. I live it day in and day out. It's very difficult. Like right after this, I got to go watch my kids while my wife gets a dress for a wedding. So it's absolutely it is a balance that you have to keep checking in with yourself and checking in with your family, and to make sure that you're being held accountable for the things that you're supposed to be doing and not just getting on one track. So with that said, we got 7 minutes for I wrap up, and like I got to get out of here. So
man.
And you got to probably get back to work and eat up every second.
Yeah, I got to whiteboard some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So you got work to do. I got to go be dad. And everything will be right in the universe by the end of the day. Well,
as long as it's right with the family, you call it a good day.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna run through a few things here, then we'll wrap up real quick here. So so Indie PodCon. If you haven't decided, decide. Make the choice. Go get your tickets. Save 10% right now if you go to indiepodcon.com/register. Use offer code IPP. So that's a $20 savings right there. Like that's not too shabby. I mean, heck, the hotel rooms are only like 120, so that's like a sixth of the room. Sixth of the room. I don't know. However, whatever it works out to be, it's savings that you can use on a nice room. If you want to get yourself some awesome, you were talking about Poddit hoodies. How do I get a Poddit hoodie, by the way?
They don't exist yet.
Well,
man.
I mean, I don't just have to wear
coming.
my name on a hoodie like
Yeah.
all the time. I'd like to be able to wear a Poddit hoodie as well. But we do have beanies and hats and shirts and stickers like this one here that says podcaster in like 8-bit font. The icon logo is right there on that shirt, which I definitely am pretty happy with there. We have the Mic Dropper stickers and Podfessional shirts, as well as last year's podcaster shirt that was very limited edition, will not be printed again, and there's only certain amounts of sizes left in that shirt. But yeah. So you can go check that out and use offer code IPP to save 10% at indiepodcon.com/shop. If you want to be a guest on the Indie PodCon show, you should go to indiepodcon.com/guest. You can be a guest co-host, have a lot of fun, and just talk podcasting. It's something that I am extremely passionate about. Almost 6 years into this journey. So yeah. So if let me see what else. Oh, I just removed everybody from the stream there. Let's see. If you want to speak at Indie PodCon, you should totally go and make that happen. Oh, wait. I made it full screen. Oh, cool. I can make it full screen. I didn't even realize that. Thanks, people at StreamYard. You can speak. Go to indiepodcon.com/apply to be a speaker at Indie PodCon 6. March 31st is the end, and we will be announcing April 15th. I got to write it on the site still. April 15th is when we will be making those announcements here on the Indie Pod podcast live. If you want to sponsor the show, you can go to indiepodcon.com/partners. Let's see. I am the hoodie master. I need one too. Larry Roberts. Yes. You do need one. I need to do. Maybe now that Icon is in a late September thing. Maybe I should look at doing a embroidered hoodie or something like that.
For sure. Yeah, that logo would work good on that.
Yeah, I just got to get some people that are willing to spend like 50 some dollars or so. To get something of quality and get it branded like that. So anyway, so Brent, before we wrap up, thank you so much for taking the time on this Saturday morning out of your away from your team time. Tell them I said thank you. Of course they're all watching right now, right? Like
they're in there talking.
They're not actually working. Thank you so much for taking time away from your team to come talk about podcast guest bookings and Poddit and all that. And if is there anything you'd like to leave us with before we wrap up and get out of here in 3 minutes?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for all that, and also appreciate you letting me show the team. Again, I'm the mouthpiece for this whole thing, but really good folks in me. I don't think they get enough credit. They make it come to life. The only thing I would say is that we are completely following this point for you. So believe in us, stick with us. You're gonna pleasantly surprised at where it goes.
I am. I am. In fact, I should probably move my Indie Pod podcast over to Poddit for guest bookings going forward into the future as well. Because right now I only have the Dreamers podcast up there, and I'm not really accepting guests at this time due to booking scheduling problems on my end.
Right. Well, if you do it now, it'll set the stage for where we're going, and it'll move it out of your inbox. So I can't say a lot. I can say, trust me, that's a smart thing for you to do if you want to get a handle on it.
Yes, and I would like to put it out there for more people to see it, and spread the word a bit more through the platform. So that is something that maybe in the next week or so I'll put on my reminders list to try to knock out and get it switched over to that versus just like literally a calendar link with like 3 questions on it, which is fine. It works, but I want to be able to also promote it and help promote Poddit as well, as they are a
you guys are gonna love where it goes. I really wish I could say more, but I haven't even told my team yet. So
so you're a dictator now.
Yeah, no. Told them I'm heavily influenced on product. We'll say that. I get to do is think about it all the time. So it's very mutually fun. But
well, other than Andrew, was any of them podcasters prior?
So Eduardo was on. Andrew did another show called The Doug Log, which is for software game development.
Oh, okay.
Eduardo, who will be down with me at Podfest, he was on that show with Andrew, and they did a lot of good guests in that space, like Unity. This won't mean anything to you, but anyway, no, dude,
I'm a gamer. Guests. I know, like, come on.
Okay, man. So Unity and all of that. So on the dev side, yeah. So they got a lot of, but it's dev heavy. It's not just gaming heavy. It's not like what's his name, Danny Pena. It's more on the development side. Yeah. But in that space, they had some bigger name guests. So Eduardo also had some insight on the guest sort of connection. And then Aaron was a designer, and the other Anthony was just straight up. He does consulting and software dev and engineering and all that stuff. So we had to bring in some even bigger experts.
Oh wow,
to make it awesome. Yeah.
All right. Well, I got to wrap up and get out of here. So thank you so much, Brent. Thank you so much for everyone for the comments. Lou and Larry, thank you so much. I hope you all have a great weekend. Next week, I have apparently Larry Roberts is my guest. I'm gonna take him at his word because he is my guest next week, Wednesday at 8 o'clock at night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Looking forward to it. Everybody have a great week.
2 seconds, Joe. Your community with Lou and all those people, man, and when we went to the event is absolutely fantastic. So anybody thinking about going to the event, there and the networking aspect, you're gonna meet some amazing people. I can say that. There's no pitch. I don't have any vested interest, but I can tell people, if you want to meet cool people in podcasting, relationships that will help you go forward, that's the place to do it.
Oh, well, thank you. It's definitely a much smaller platform to meet a much more concentrated brew of awesomeness.
Lots of awesomeness.
All right, take care, everyone.
Bye, guys.